It's cold, wet, and dark here in Southern California, and this is the perfect time to start growing your cool season crops as well as complete harvests of your summer vegetables. In today's episode, we look at the California garden in the month of November. We will begin with a garden tour. We'll look at all the harvests we made this month. We will have some things for you to do, and finally, we review some cool gardening products. To get notifications of all our videos, please click on the bell button right next to the subscribe button. So let's begin with the tour of the garden, starting with the raised beds. We have the black cobra pepper that we overwintered and is growing very well. And right next to that, we have some brassicas, cauliflower, cabbages that are growing very well in this cool season. Right next to that, we have the lone hyacinth bean plant. And right next to that, we have some beets that are growing, as well as some radishes. Now, the radishes and beets are also cool season crops that grow very well during this time of the year. We have another area right next to that we just prepared, and there are some beets growing in this bed as well. And the bean plants, as you can see, are yellowing and dying now. Beans require warm weather, and it's pretty cold here right now. On the other side, we have some pea plants that are growing on the trellis and some broccoli plants, as you can see here. And right next to the broccoli, we have some more radish plants. These are the long white radish plants, and some more cabbages that are growing. And we have some onions here. These are the white small bulb kind of onions. And we have some more chili plants at the back. And some more cauliflowers. As you can see here, the cauliflowers are now showing up, the heads are now showing up, and they're growing pretty well. And that concludes the tour of our raised beds. Let's look at our containers now. We have Swiss chard that's growing pretty well, and some cauliflower plants, as well as the eggplants, which are producing their final eggplants now. We have some more brassicas, cabbages and cauliflowers growing here, and some radish. The tomato plant is still growing but is not producing any tomatoes now. We have some garlic plants here. We just planted some garlic in this container, and another cabbage plant, as you can see. We have some carrots that are growing. As you can see here, this is the purple carrot, and I'm excited to see how it looks. And we have the mint plant. On the other side, we have some ivy gourd plants as well as the mulberry tree. We have some pineapples. We have the golden nugget tangerine and the curry leaf plants that are growing. Let's now look at the fruit trees. We have the Persian limes, the bear's lime, as well as the Mexican guavas producing like crazy, as you can see here. And right next to that, we have the tangerines. These are the Dancy tangerines that are producing very well now. You can see here they're loaded with tangerines, and we just started harvesting tangerines this month. We have the Washington navel oranges that are growing very well, producing a lot of navel oranges. And then we have the Kishu mandarin plant, which was very small to start with, but now, as you can see, producing a lot of mandarins. And that concludes the tour of our fruit trees. Let's now look at the harvest we made, starting with the banana flower. Now, the banana flower is something that I have shown in my earlier videos as well. It is a large bud and it has a lot of flowers inside it, and is absolutely delicious. You can make a lot of good things with this banana flower, and it was an absolute joy to grow this. And as you can see here, right above that, we have the Rajapuri bananas that are growing very well. You just need a little bit of space between the flower and the banana. And as you can see here, the banana bud is quite beautiful and is loaded with a lot of banana flowers. Beans. We harvested a lot of pole beans, and this was probably the last month we were getting beans. The bean plant has started slowing down now. It started to become yellow, and is not growing that well. But we did harvest a lot of beans from this pole bean plant. And this trellis, the easy trellis, worked out very well for growing pole beans. So I highly recommend that you check out our video on constructing this easy trellis. And it was great for growing these beans. And we were able to harvest beans almost every day from this plant in November as well. But now the production has slowed down. So as you can see here, beautiful looking beans. Pole beans are an abundant producer and something that I highly recommend you grow in your home garden. Eggplants. The container Little Prince eggplant is not only one of the best eggplants I've grown, it even produced in November. So as you can see here, small eggplants, absolutely delicious tasting eggplants, another variety that I highly recommend that you try growing. And the eggplant production has also slowed down now that it's colder and the weather is not very warm. But as you can see here, beautiful looking eggplants. The Mexican guava tree was producing a lot of guavas, and as you can see here, these are extremely large guavas. Now the Mexican guava is white from the inside and it is not very sweet. It has this little sweet flavor but not extremely sweet. And once again, you can see here the fruits are quite good looking, very large, and we were able to harvest 4 or 5 guavas from this plant at least about 2 or 3 times this month. So all in all, a great harvest for these Mexican guavas. You can see here this one is extremely large, this guava, and this is a very delicious crunchy guava, not soft. It's very crunchy and less sweet. Ivy gourds. We had 2 ivy gourd plants growing in our whiskey barrels, and they did produce a lot of ivy gourds this month. Now it was kind of surprising because November is usually a cooler month, but we did have some warm days towards the end of October and the beginning of November, which is why we were able to harvest a few ivy gourds from our ivy gourd plant. I think we will have one more round of harvest and then the plant will go into dormancy. I was very surprised and I was quite happy with the amount of ivy gourds this plant produced even in the cooler weather. And as you can see here, the harvest looks pretty good. A lot of healthy, very nice looking ivy gourds, and they are extremely delicious. Moringa. They call Moringa the tree of life, and we harvested a lot of Moringa pods. As you can see here, beautiful looking pods. We had a lot of pods in this tree. As you can see here, this is a big harvest, and we still have a lot of pods that are still growing on the tree. The Dancy tangerine tree is full of tangerines, and we harvested a couple of tangerines in November, but the peak harvest season is from December through January or even February. And as you can see here, we are using this fruit picker, and I'll provide a link to this fruit picker in the video description and the comment below. It's a very handy tool to use to pick your fruits. It doesn't damage the fruit, and it lets you reach higher and grab the fruits that are higher up and then harvest them safely. Now let's look at the things for you to do in your garden this month. This month is a good time to plant more cool season crops. If you haven't already planted cabbages, cauliflower, Swiss chard, carrots, spinach, all these are great cool season crops to start. We are starting some garlic here. As you can see, we got organic garlic from a grocery store, and we're just planting the cloves, as you can see here. And you can grow a lot of garlic in one whiskey barrel container. I've posted an earlier video showing how you can grow a lot of garlic in a whiskey barrel container, and you can see that video on how to propagate garlic from the cloves right up to harvest. And now let's look at some gardening products. Today let's look at the strawberry planter. This is basically a bag with a lot of holes around it, as you can see here. And I've been growing strawberries in different types of containers, and I wanted to try out how this strawberry grow bag looks like and whether it lives up to its expectations. So we're going to be adding some potting mix here. This is a combination of peat moss, perlite and compost. I saved this potting mix from one of our containers, and all we're going to do is just start filling up this strawberry planter bag with the soil. And strawberry is one of the plants that doesn't grow very well in regular containers, so I wanted to try out this solution for growing strawberries. As you can see here, what we are doing is filling up the bag with potting mix right up to the top, and you just need to compact the soil a little bit at the pockets where the pockets are, and the pockets are where we will be eventually planting the strawberry plants. And the pockets are pretty well made. They can store quite a bit of soil, and this is how it looks like after you have added the soil. Now I'm using my existing strawberry container, as you can see here, and picking out some plants. Now you can pick different kinds of strawberries, different varieties of strawberries to plant in this planter, and this is how each strawberry plant looks like. And when you pick out plants like this, they will eventually grow into larger strawberry plants. Now this traditional container that you see here is not the most efficient way of growing strawberries, which is why I wanted to try out the grow bag, the strawberry grow bag. And these are all our plants, as you can see here, which we will be transplanting into this strawberry grow bag. And just like that, you can just plant the plants, the strawberry plants, into the pockets as you see here. And it's a pretty easy technique. All you do is just use your fingers to push the soil a little bit and then push the roots inside. Don't worry too much about the roots, they will survive. The strawberry plant is a very resilient plant. When you transplant it, it will come back vigorously. So you plant one plant at each pocket, and the roots will start growing inside towards the grow bag, and you can just rotate the bag and then plant some more, as you can see here, and then just complete planting all around the strawberry grow bag. And once you have done planting all the strawberry plants, you can see here there's still some space left on the top, so don't forget to plant some more plants on the top part of the strawberry grow bag. And as you can see here, we can plant about 4 plants, maybe even 5 plants on the top of the grow bag. And this is how it looks like after all the strawberry plants have been planted. We can plant one more plant. There's a little bit space on the top part of the planter. And that's how the strawberry planter looks like. All we'll be doing now is watering the planter thoroughly. You need to make sure that the water reaches all the roots so that the plants are not in shock and they grow properly. And even if you water from the top, the water will eventually reach the roots and the plants will get the water that they need. But since we're doing this for the first time, we're just making sure that we are watering the roots, we are watering everything correctly. And that's how our strawberry planter looks like now. It will start producing strawberries on the outside, and it should be much easier to harvest these strawberries once they grow in this grow bag. So there we have it, folks. That was our episode on the California garden for the month of November. If you like this video, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. And if you're not already a subscriber, hit that subscribe button and click the bell button to get all future notifications. We'll see you again soon. Happy gardening.